Hey, hockey fans, how's everybody doing? March 7th, there were 10 games on the board, and it was a rough day. Um, Things just, sometimes you get in a slump and it's tough, and you just got to keep doing it. You got to keep working at it and doing the research, and then hopefully things get better. But it was a rough day, and I even felt bad that I put I got a comment and I replied, and it was a question on Tampa Boston game. I thought it would go under. I truly did think it would go under, but both teams scored and ended up being a high scoring game. And it was just one of those days. Anyway, we're going to review the scores for the 10 games, and then we're going to get on to Sunday's games and make some picks and try to make up for some losses here on Saturday. Carolina and the Islanders. And game ended up going into overtime. Islanders gained a point, but took another loss. They lost 3 to Carolina. I don't know what's going on with the Islanders. I mean, they've let me down so many times. I'm not giving up on them yet because I think they're a talented team, but they got to put a full 60 minutes in. I mean, again, this Carolina game, there were moments where they looked good, and then there were moments where it just looked like they weren't giving it everything they have. And if they don't do that, they're not going to make the dance. But anyway, first game, Carolina won against the Islanders 3-2 in overtime. Washington and Pittsburgh. Washington came out strong in the first period, took the lead, fought off a 5-3 power play, and kind of set the tone and won the game 5-2. Nashville blew my mind and won the second game of back-to-backs against Dallas. They won 2-0, and then today they won 1-0. So good for Nashville. Minnesota got hammered by Los Angeles. Los Angeles now 5-game winning streak. That one I didn't see coming either. Ottawa ended up going over San Jose 2-1 in overtime, which was nice to see. Tampa and Boston, exciting game. Tough game, but Tampa pulled it out, 5-3 win. Florida-Montreal game was crazy. Those Florida players are going to be sore. They blocked so many shots. I just blew my mind. Like, good on them. They ended up pulling off a win, 4-1. They were playing the full 60 minutes, and, that's what happens. You do that, and that's the result. So anyway, that was good for Florida. New Jersey against the Rangers. Even with the return of Shesterkin, New Jersey still won that game 6-4. Another nice win. I mean, they just beat St. Louis, and now they beat the Rangers. Philadelphia stayed strong, got number 9, beat Buffalo 3-1. And then Columbus, it was a pretty tight game till close to the end of the third period, and then Edmonton turned it on, ended up winning the game 4-1. So anyway, it was a rough day. My best bet, Islanders game, didn't go through, and I only made 2 of my 6 bets that I laid. I got my Flyers puck line and Ottawa Senators money line. The rest of them I lost. So my best bet's down to 8 and 10. I was 3 and 7 for the day. So yeah, like I said earlier, I'm glad it's over. Let's get right into the picks for Sunday, March 8th, and see how it goes. We've got Carolina taking on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's 3-7-0 in their last 10 with a current 1-game losing streak, third in the Metropolitan, and Murray is listed as probable for Pittsburgh. Their last game was a 5-2 loss to the Capitals. Carolina's 4-4-2 in their last 10, current 1-game winning streak, 2 points behind Columbus and the Islanders for a wild card spot. Nedeljkovic is listed as probable for Carolina, and their last game was a 3-2 overtime win over the Islanders. These teams have actually not even played each other yet this season. Carolina's 4-11 straight up in their last 15 games against Pittsburgh. The line set at 6, and the total has gone under. 6 of Carolina's 6 games went on the road against Pittsburgh. Public's money is going to be on Pittsburgh here, but I'm going to look to Carolina to go in and win. I'm going to look to Carolina to beat Pittsburgh as my first pick. On game 2, Tampa against Detroit. Detroit 2-7-1 in their last 10 with a current 1-game winning streak. Bernier is listed as probable, and he's playing quite well. There's a chance they might put in Howard. Again, this team's not going anywhere. Their last game, though, was a 2-1 win over Chicago. Tampa 5-5-0 in their last 10, current 2-game winning streak, second in the Atlantic, and Vasilevsky is listed as probable for Tampa. Their last game was a 5-3 win over Boston. The Lightning lead the season series with a 2-1 win in December. Coming off a nice win in Boston, Tampa shouldn't have any problem with this Detroit team. Kucherov owns at least 1 point in 21 of his last 22 games. You just got to stay with a strong team here and go Tampa. I know there's lots of upsets and teams that shouldn't be winning are winning, and teams that should be winning are losing. But anyway, I'm staying with the strong team here and taking Tampa as my second pick. On to the third game, we've got Vegas against Calgary. Calgary 6-3-1 in their last 10, current 3-game winning streak, third in the Pacific, and Riddick is listed as probable. Their last game was a 3-2 win over Arizona. Vegas 8-2-0 in their last 10, current 1-game losing streak, second in the Pacific, and Leonard is listed as probable. Their last game was a 4-0 where they got blanked to the Jets. The Golden Knights took the first 2 games of this season series, 6-2 in October, and 6-0 in November. Calgary's playing better at home. They've won 2 at home now, which, was a concern because Calgary does not have a good home record. And Vegas is going to be pissed after getting blanked by Winnipeg. And with Leonard in net, I just, I know the first shot on him when he was in a Vegas uniform, he let that one in. But since then, I think he stopped 59 of 60 shots. So with him between the pipes, I'm going to take the visiting team here. I'm going to take Vegas to beat Calgary for my third pick. Fourth game, we've got St. Louis against Chicago. Chicago's 5-5-0 in their last 10, current 1-game losing streak. Crawford is listed as probable for Chicago, and their last game was a 2-1 loss to Detroit. St. Louis 8-2-0 in their last 10. Their winning streak was broke by the Devils. Current 1-game losing streak, first in the Central. Allen is listed as probable for St. Louis, and their last game was a 4-2 loss to the Devils. The Blues are going to be looking to sweep here. They took the first 3 games 4-0 in December, 4-3 in December, and then an exciting 6-5 win in February. Chicago's going to be looking to get back on track, and Chicago's sitting at plus money. The public's going to be leaning to St. Louis here. The line's set at 6, and I might look at the over for this game as well. St. Louis is 4-10 straight up in their last 14 games on the road. If St. Louis was at home here, I'd probably look to St. Louis. But I'm going to take Chicago. I'm going to take Chicago to beat St. Louis for my fourth pick. Fifth game, we've got Minnesota against Anaheim. Anaheim 4-5-1 in their last 10, current 2-game winning streak. Gibson is listed as probable, but I think in the third period he had an upper body injury, and there's a good chance Miller is going to be in net for Anaheim. Their last game was a 2-1 win over Toronto. Minnesota 7-3-0 in their last 10, current 1-game losing streak. Dubnyk is listed as probable because Stalock got roughed up by LA. And their last game was a 7-3 loss to the Kings. Anaheim is one of those spoiler teams and doing a good job lately. I mean, they beat Toronto, they beat Colorado. Are they going to beat Minnesota? I don't think so. The Wild are 4-1 straight up in their last 5 games when playing on the road against Anaheim, and they are 6-1 straight up in their last 7 games on the road. So I just see Minnesota getting over their loss to the Kings in a hurry and beating this Anaheim team. So my fifth pick, I'm going to take Minnesota. Kind of like the Tampa game. I'm staying with the strong team here, and I see Minnesota beating Anaheim. On to the sixth game, we've got Columbus against Vancouver. Vancouver's 4-5-1 in their last 10 with a current 1-game winning streak. Wild card position, Demko is listed as probable, and their last game was when they doubled up Colorado 6-3. Columbus 2-4-4 in their last 10, current 1-game losing streak. They're in a wild card position, and I have a feeling that Merzlikins is going to play here. And I think that might be that one thing they need to finally get some W's. Their last game was a 4-1 loss to Edmonton. The Blue Jackets took the only game these teams have played 5-3, and that was the beginning of March. Vancouver's tied in the West for a wild card spot. Columbus tied in the East for a wild card spot. Columbus is 4-1 straight up in their last 5 games when playing on the road against Vancouver, and the total has gone over in 10 of Vancouver's last 12 games this season. Again, here I'm going to go the underdog. I'm going to go Columbus to beat Vancouver for my sixth pick. Seventh game, we've got Colorado against San Jose. San Jose is 3-6-1, overtime decision, and Dell is listed as probable for San Jose. Their last game was an overtime loss to Ottawa. Colorado 7-1-2 in their last 10, current 1-game losing streak, second in the Central, and Frank Coos is listed as probable. Their last game was a 6-3 loss to Vancouver. Avalanche lead the season series with a 4-1 or 4-0 win in January. Colorado's 9-1 in their last 10 games on the road, although they are 2-18 straight up in their last 20 games when playing on the road against San Jose. The line's at 5.5, and the majority of history says this one will go under. Colorado's going to be out without Cal McCarr. He's got an upper body injury. He didn't travel with the team. This is a bit of a tough one to call, but I'm going to look to Colorado here to get back on track, and for Francouz to step up and stand tall between the pipes. Colorado. So we'll just review those picks, and then I'll Carolina to beat Pittsburgh for my first game, Tampa to beat Detroit for the second, Vegas to beat Calgary for the third, Chicago to beat St. Louis for the fourth, Minnesota to beat Anaheim for the fifth, Columbus to beat Vancouver for the sixth game, and then the seventh game, I'm going to take Colorado to beat San Jose. For my best bet, I'm going to call that to be the Vegas game to beat Calgary in Calgary. And then the bets I'm going to go Columbus money line at plus 130. I'm going to go Vegas puck line at plus 210. I'm going to go the Blackhawks money line plus 120. Colorado Sharks game, I'm going to go under 5.5 at plus an even 100. And then the Tampa Detroit game, I'm going to call an over 5.5 there at minus 120. And I'm hoping the weekend ends well with some great picks and that we all do well. I hope everyone's had a wonderful weekend. Good luck with your picks, and thanks for watching.